Call the meeting to order. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody, and thanks for our good crowd today. Everybody's showing up. We appreciate that. Gary Mertz, as you notice, is not here. He texted me, emailed me, and called me yesterday. His mother passed away, so he had to go to Minnesota. So leave him, keep his family in your prayers through their difficult time. Keith, you had some special recognition you wanted to do?
Yeah, I'd actually like.
Yeah, remember your microphone.
Yes, I'd like Daryl to start it, and then he can introduce him if you'd like. It'd be fine.
I don't know, those guys on the backside, they look a little scary to introduce. I got something that came in yesterday, and it's not in the minutes. I'm going to kind of hand it around to the committee over here. I forgot to do it this morning. We've been working with Golf Now for going on 3 years. Golf Now is a booking engine, kind of going with the Golf Channel solution. So anybody in the area that's looking for golf will go into the app, put it up, and Bella Vista pulls up first, top of the list. We change it up. They do promotions with it. They encourage people to come in from all over. Say you got somebody traveling from Walmart that comes in the area, and their meeting finishes early. He's looking for golf. He goes into Golf Now, pulls it up. Bella Vista is the first hit. And it has been extremely successful on our non-member rounds, and they're bringing money in. But every time a person comes in, they do an evaluation of the experience they have in Bella Vista, from walking in the door to the pro shops to on the course, and would they come back. So these evaluations are done through the last 2 years, and we're getting some feedback that's come in. And yesterday I got an email from the golf advisor, my Golf Now person, and he says, congratulations. So I click on it one more, and we are positioned, Highlands Golf Course, at number 4 in the state, and Dogwood at number 5 as a semi-private. And that is fantastic news. And that's, like I said, it's experience from my guys and Keith's guys, and I'd like him to stand up. Let's start on the golf course. We've got Mr. Greg at Highlands, and we've got Mr. Scott at Dogwood. We truly appreciate it, and it just shows when people come in, they look at what we have around here, and they go, it's fantastic. So golf courses, keep it going, and I know it's been a challenge out at Highlands with all the rain. 92 inches of rain is unreal, and they still enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all and all the hard work you put in, and it's a true testimony. I'll go down to the PGA show, and I get to visit a little bit with these guys and get drilled down into the experience. So thank you for my guys as well. We got Mr. Paul Gomez out there at Dogwood, and I got Mr. Alex. I got Mr. Alex here. Please stand up. Come on, Alex. There we go. He's up and like I said, the survey comes in, and it's from that experience, from the parking lot to check-in to on the course to after the round, and it's awesome. So 4 and 5, we've got places, and it goes to the whole state of Arkansas. So it's a good deal, and something to be proud of. And we're going to share it with in the golf update on Friday. It will go out, and you click on it and have a look and see where we're going. Appreciate you guys.
That's awesome. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, definitely, as we say a lot, thank you guys for everything that you do out on the courses. It's pretty amazing. Is that it? You got it?
For that.
Good. For that, yeah. Okay, good. All right. Back to Daryl. Go ahead with your updates and introductions.
First of all, I've got some staff members here today from Golf Operations. I've got Miss Kelly at the back there. She's my supervisor. Please stand up. She has never been to one of these. They didn't know they were going to get introduced. And I got Miss Sarah back there. Miss Sarah. All right, that's the staff. Those are staff ladies that work with all the golf groups behind the scenes, make all the phone calls, and they've never been to one of these. They see them online and watch it, but today bring them in, get invested, learn a little bit of what goes on in here. And today's meeting is going to be a little different on my part, all right, and you'll find out as I move on. But another thing I want to stress, Bruce Fleming had a rough Christmas. Everybody knows Bruce. Bruce has been with us for over 10 years. Miss Vicky left us on the 24th and is in a better place. Please keep our prayers for Bruce as he goes through this transition stage. He will be working as much as he can. So when you go in, like normal, pick on him, have some fun. He's a good guy. He's a good staff member. And I want to appreciate all the members that stop by and visit with him and show the support towards my staff. So keep him in the prayers. All right, moving on now to business. Golf numbers for 2019, if you have a look, it is not complete. We had New Year's on the 1st, which put us behind, and this is now the first Wednesday, so our numbers aren't final. So I don't have anything to report on. Like last year, it gets tight this time of year, and make sure if I'm going to report a number, especially towards the end of the year, I want to make sure it's correct. So I will be getting those out as soon as possible once all accounting catches up and we finish up the year. So I've got nothing to report on that side. Second thing is we had the Scottsdale Detour. Yesterday, we had people out there, and we had a little tour of the detour and what was going on at Scottsdale. We had about 15 people show up. We went around. We explained the detour route. It's pretty clean cut. We had some good questions about the bridge. Thought it was well answered. A lot of people, one of the gentlemen that came there got to visit, asked some good questions, and he left saying, I'm educated. This is really good. He's excited. Just so everybody knows, on the 18th, weather permitting, Scottsdale will be open, all 18 holes, front 9 and back 9. On the 18th. Yep, on the 18th, weather permitting. Now, if we have snow, we're going to cover those greens up. 18 on the 18th. We went for that. Thanks, Jason. So the detour, if anybody hasn't seen, we've been sending it out in the golf update. You play number 2, you'll get up to where the cliff is. You turn a left. You'll go down towards number 8 past the nursery green. There's we'll have a temporary tee box for number 8 as a par 4. If it was a par 5, it'll be played as a par 4. You'll loop around the bridge and head back to number 2, and you'll finish off hole number 2 and go on to 3. Come all the way around. When you get to the tee box on number 8, you'll move forward to the fairway and you'll play it as a par 4. So it's fantastic. Mary brought something up at that meeting, was the gold tees. We thought they would tee off from the red, but it is a carry to get over that second water, so we're going to move them up a little bit to help out. So that was a good outcome that came from that meeting, something that slips our mind, and that's important. When the course closes, or when the hole closes, for them to fix the bridge, we will not play hole number 2. That's the big one. We can't have people hitting over people working in the bridge. It's to the right. It comes into play. A lot of people hit it right over there. So what we'll do is we'll close number 2. You'll finish 1. You'll go straight to number 3 on a detour route with signs all the way around. And you'll play 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. When you get to 9, we'll have an option in the short game area. There will be a temporary green, which is already there, but it'll be played as a par 3. So you'll tee off from the short game area, play as a par 3, and then you'll go to number 10. So you still get the experience of 18 holes. And that's important that we want to do to keep score justification so you can post scores, and it's still a dollar value. And that will be just during the work on hole number 2. All right. Any questions on that? We had some JAG committee members were at the tour, and I think it went well. Any feedback from that? All good? Awesome. That's fantastic. So we're looking forward to it. Kyle right now is down there doing some small work on it, getting ready for the 18th. To open up, and we'll get another golf course in the rotation, which is great. All right. As you see on the agenda, a challenge for the JAC. I want to go around the table real quick and ask how many play golf in summer. How many rounds of golf? This committee. We'll talk down there real quick as well. Mr. Phil, how many rounds of golf do you play in summer per week?
Per week?
Yeah.
3.
3. Awesome. I know Alex doesn't play any golf because I work him too much. Dean, where we at?
Normally 3.
Okay, Mr. Mark Worksmore. One, there we go. I got it. Mary?
Normally 4.
4. 3. Keith, I know you don't. Our committee down there, I just want some ideas, and this is where we're kind of going, and you'll see where I'm going with this in a minute. We've got 3 from Miss Jan, 5 from Larry. Man, we appreciate you. 3 from Jim, 4. We got 3, 5. Don, appreciate you. 3. My staff members don't put their hands up. That's good. That shows that they're working. I got it. Good deal. 6, there we go. I know. All right, as you can see, and this is something I want to throw out. So where this started is last year I went on a leadership training, got to visit with a lot of different people that work in vendor world, work all over the country, and we all get together and we kind of visit. And I'm kind of restructuring my meetings with the pros. I'm giving them weekly challenges. And what that is I give them a weekly challenge at their facility to do something, whether it be on merchandise sales, whether it be greeting people, remembering names, anything to do to help them, and they report back to me. This is the most, how can I say, structured and engaging way of running meetings. And I want to challenge this committee. This is a challenge for the month of January. If we have a look, I do my reports, and I come here and I just spew out numbers. Tom's, there's the numbers, give them out, they're the numbers, we move on. If we've noticed in the last year, I've been in this position for a year, what has been our biggest downfall in rounds is members' rounds, right? We've watched it decrease, aging populations, all that type of stuff. That's a part that I really want to focus on, and I'm asking the committee to come up with ideas this next month. We all play, we heard, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of golf going on, everybody plays golf. You are our eyes and ears. You're out there with the membership. I can't get out and visit with everybody. I wish I could. I try in the afternoons as best I can. Our pros are out there. They're going to be asking questions. If we could have a goal every month and come back with ideas, throw 30 things at us. We've got Alex here. We can all sit. Throw 30 things at us, 20 things, 5 things. Don't care. If 1 or 2 things stick, that we can do to help member rounds grow, it's going to help Bella Vista Golf. Agreed? I think I'm passionate about it. We've done a lot of things. We watch our out-of-town or our non-member rounds growing, which is great. That's from Golf Now, little things we've tried, and things are starting to stick. Let's work with the membership. Let's see how we can do it. Just an example. I hit this up right before Christmas. A gentleman came in, and he goes, what are we going to do? Rounds are going down. And I said, well, rounds on our membership, this year was a little different. We had 92 inches of rain. So, yeah, they went down. Not as much as we thought, as much rain as we had. But how can you help me? And this gentleman turned around and says, you know what? I should just bring a guest once a week. Someone down the road that I met. Somebody that I met sitting at a bar at BV Bar and Grill. You play golf? Play golf? Why don't you join me on a Thursday afternoon? Let's go play golf. And he's a member. That's what we want to do. So I'm going to put, that's just an idea of many things. Now, I am going to say that tournaments, yes, it increases rounds, but we are slammed in tournaments for 2020. We are busy. And so tournaments, let's not talk about tournaments. Let's talk about rounds of golf. A lot of our members that are not playing golf, they really don't use the tournaments. That's pressure. They don't enjoy that as much. But just think of ideas that we can get our golfers in, our membership, to play more golf. Are we up for the challenge? And I don't mind, no matter what it says. We do it with the pros. I pull them in and we have ideas. And is Paul left? Oh, man, I wish he was here. But I will still pick on him. He will throw me 30 things, and they're off-the-wall stuff. One of them will stick, and we implement it into success. So whatever it is, don't be embarrassed. Talk to your groups. Visit with me, and we'll go from there. And we'll bring it next month, February, Wednesday's meeting, and we'll throw it up on the board, and we'll see what we can do. And that will help us work on different things. I'll have a new goal in February, for the month of February. Okay? Cool. Another thing, I'm going to move on, it's not on the agenda. Here is the tape. We will be doing an experiment on the flag sticks for Keith's Guys, it's for the lasers. Came to us from a board member. We'll roll this around, put it in. This is a very inexpensive way, and if it helps with the lasers, we're gonna roll with it, so it's pretty excited. So I've done my job. Now it's Keith's turn. There we go. We're gonna do one course, and we're gonna see how long it's. Whichever you think. Right now, I wouldn't do Scottsdale. It'd be either Highlands or Country Club or Dogwood. Those are our three most played courses right now. So we'll be good to go. Whichever you choose, we'll go out there, and I'll let the pros know, and we'll kind of keep it. When you hit those laser deals, we'll see how it responds and how long it holds up. Fantastic. Oh, he's just left too. All right, another thing real quick. We'll have a look. You will see going in Friday, everybody gets the golf update, right? Everybody like the golf update. It's a world of knowledge, but I mean, Kim's not here to do it, but I'll just show you, a little show and tell. So here are the pages that go out on the golf update all the way through, lots of reading, lots of information every week. All right, it's kind of jumbled in. It has no cut lines rolling. This was through 2019. All right, that's a lot of paper. We have revamped it, and Kim's team has done a fantastic job and made it a lot easier to read. It's a little shorter than that one, you can't really see, but we've got cut lines, news, Pro Shop specials, tournaments, and then we've got upcoming events. So we're cutting the lines, making it a little more visual, easier to read, and then when you click on it, it will open up and take you to the website so you can investigate a little more on it if you're looking. So look out for that. That's going to happen on Friday. You'll see that coming through. Don't forget to scroll all the way down, because that's where all the stuff's going to be. So it's kind of be a cool deal. A nice change for 2020. All right, I've gone through that pretty quick. I talk 90 to nothing, as all my staff members say. Slow down, Daryl. Any questions for me or my staff before I hand it over to Alex?
I do have one quick comment on the 19 numbers. When those will go online immediately when they're done,
available.
and then we will announce it that they're online and the golf update the following Friday, just so everybody knows that they're in and up.
Perfect. Got it. Yes, sir.
This may be for Tom. When do we anticipate things like the statistics being available? End of February?
I think that'd be reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, Mr. Alex, floor's yours.
Okay. As we talked about last month, we're in the process of putting together the 2020 tournament calendar. Most everything is set. We think we've got our dates pretty well where we want them. We're still kind of working through some outside events. Kelly in the golf operations office is scheduling some outings and things like that, making sure that all of our events are basically where we want them. There'll be a little bit of moving around as we keep going, adding some things in, and making sure that we're taking care of all the events that we've had and events that we need to keep on our calendar. So you're going to see the actual tournament calendar set out to you at next month's meeting, all finalized with all formats and everything completely set up. We plan to have all tournament information live on the website as of the end of February so that everybody can make their tournament calendars out. They can plan their year all at once and go ahead and start getting signed up. We hope that that helps our participation in all of our events instead of just putting everything out 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. Just go ahead and get it all out at once. And we'll be continuing to promote in the golf updates and things like that, the actual calendar events that are creeping up on us as we get a little bit closer to it. So nothing terribly new to report on new tournaments. Any questions on the tournament calendar?
I have one question, Alex. Have you thought any more about putting out a letter to the sponsors, the major sponsors like Macadoodles and Allen's Food and those kind of local sponsors that support these, and give them that information in February so that they can plan ahead?
Right.
You know, and they'll know the major tournaments that they want to support.
Yeah, I agree. This is the time of year to kind of hit them up because as we get closer to event dates, they get they get swamped with things like that. So yeah, we'll be reaching out to all our normal businesses and sponsors and making sure that they know what's coming on what's coming up. Any other tournament calendar questions? Okay.
I have a question. And it has to do with pricing, really, of some of the charity tournaments. That we've kind of gone from really $40 to $60 over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. And we've watched our participation, and I think all of those tournaments pretty much drop off. And I'm wondering if we need to rethink pricing on some of those.
I'll have to throw
Just a
that to-
thought.
Yeah.
He's going to jump it to me. Actually, what we did to keep it the last 3 years has been at a consistent price. It was before that was a little cheaper. What we've done is, thanks to Tom and the board, is we actually cut green fees costs. So guests would normally be 50, we dropped them down to 35, and then we started giving back to the charity a little more, and that's where it's helped. Numbers as far as our charity events really didn't decrease. If you have a look, we had to change a date and where they hurt a little bit. So this year we're going to keep the green fees the same. We have looked at the prices. You've also got to remember that we've got food, then you've got payouts, and that's where it kind of comes in. You still want to give back to the charity. We found that this last year, that amount at $60, or yeah, that's about where we are. $60 is where it is per person, and then your green fees, and a lot of them are annuals. That's where we are. We have looked at it, and you'll see on the new sheets when they come out. I'm not announcing anything just yet, but you'll see the new sheets in February when they come out.
Any other tournament questions? All right, so many of you may know that there's a new world handicapping system that has just been released. It's a worldwide way that scores are going to be put into the handicap system to make it possible to have a fair match from people in America versus people in Europe and people in Asia and things like that. So there have been several different handicap organizations throughout the world, and they all kind of did their own thing as far as how they calculated a golfer's handicap. So this year, and actually starting right now in January in America, the entire world is going to a new world handicapping system. So it's going to change the formula in which your handicap is actually made. It won't be any different as far as what you do from round to round. Our system software is going to remain the same. You're going to come in, you're going to post your score on the same computer. It's going to look exactly the same, just the calculation is going to be just a little bit different. We're waiting to see exactly what it's going to do to golfers' handicap. I think in general, everybody's going to see their handicap strokes decrease by a little bit, but we're not exactly sure how much, and it's going to be different from golfer to golfer. But we think overall, your handicap strokes are going to be a little bit less from scratch players to even very high handicappers. There's several changes that are taking effect. I wouldn't say any of them are very major. Probably the biggest thing is they're going to be counting 8 scores of 20 rather than 10 scores of 20. So it's going to be weighted towards just your best rounds to calculate your handicap a little bit more than it has been. Equitable stroke control, if people actually use that, is changing a little bit, making it a little bit more simple for every golfer. The maximum handicap range is going up, and it's going to be even for men and women. Before there was a max for men and a max for women. Now there's just going to be a max for everybody, and it's going up quite a bit to 54 strokes from 36, I believe. So it's going to just make that a little bit more all-inclusive for even beginners to have fair matches against, your scratch players and things of that nature. So we're waiting for our software to get completely updated. It should be just about any day now as far as being able to get back in and post your scores and see how they look. But we'll be meeting with the USGA. I believe Daryl's going to meet with them at the PGA show and get a little bit more information on exactly what's going to look different on our end. But I don't think there'll be anything too major. Most everybody will see their handicap go down a little bit. Really, the only big change we'll be asking people is to try to post on the day of, because it makes a little bit more of a difference if you post the day that you play versus days afterwards. There'll be a little bit more weight if it is a poor weather day or something like that. So just we'll see how it works as we keep going on. It's kind of new to all of us, so.
So I'm going to jump in on that a little bit because my ladies in the office and the pros have been hit up pretty hard by the membership. It's a change. So everybody's like, it's a change, and they're calling in, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. It's a change that's implemented, whether you agree or disagree, it's a rule. It's been put in place by the USGA, and we're going to implement it. That's where it is. Be patient. It's going to roll. It will roll out. All the little stuff, as Alex said, is behind the scenes more than anything. But I would stress, because it's a live system. So let me explain that just a little bit. If Country Club, because Keith's guys place the pins on slopes that day, and it's tough. I'm picking on Keith. But or we have a strong north wind blowing out of the north and makes the holes hard to reach on certain ones, and the course plays tough that day. That handicap to par will fluctuate. So you won't have these big swings in your handicaps where you can jump up to a 14 and then they're called sandbaggers and come in and win your next event. So it plays a lot fairer, and that's one of the things that the USGA have looked at. So the live posting is when you get done, put it in, and it will adjust it accordingly and move on. And that's what we're going to do. That's what my meeting is going to be down there, and I'm meeting with our system, which is the NGN network, down there to visit with them intensely about how we do our tournaments and updates and all that type of stuff. But just post your scores. I know we've got a lot of groups that post their scores. We'll visit with each group. I'll have my group leader meeting in March. I'll have the WGC meeting rules. We'll discuss it then as we move forward. It is winter, so it's a good time. Florida right now is being killed when they made this because everybody's coming in and asking, and it's their busy season. So all the pros down there are like, oh my gosh, why did they do it now? For us, it's a little different. This is our quiet season. We'll go in, we'll have it all answered, we'll roll it out. We've rolled it out already, but we'll have more answers as we move into the summer schedule.
And you'll still be able to post on our handicap computers in every golf shop. You'll be able to post on the mobile app, be able to post from home, anything like that. But it's very important in this system that you do it on the day of play, because if the system sees a lot of higher handicap scores for that day from everybody that played, they're going to assume it was poor weather, so they're going to weight that score a little bit differently. So it's going to even everything out a little bit more.
So that would, and I'm sure you'll let us know, because that would change things like like Women's 9-hole, the golf office posts are.
Right.
And so we've been on an every 2-week kind of a plan, so we'll probably need to look at changing the schedule for that.
Yeah,
So
it would be best.
Those
if we
kinds
could-
of things,
Right.
yeah.
And the only other thing I can think of is if there's any groups that play that have handicap ranges, like 0 to 15, play from this tee, 16 to 24, whatever that might be, there may be some fluctuation in what you need to set that in as for how your groups play. But we'll see how that works as we keep going in there and see what the actual difference is once it gets live for us.
From Don back there. I
Yes.
saw you.
Question, you said that handicap could go up to 54, but what I've read in the golf magazine say that the most you can post going forward is a net double bogey.
Net double bogey.
Handicap should never go over 36.
Yeah, net double bogey is for equitable stroke control, and I think the maximum handicap range is at 54. I'll have to do a little bit more reading on it and see what the actual difference is. But that was one of the bullet points that I read was 54 was max handicap index for men and ladies going forward. I'll have to look into it a little bit more to see exactly. It's probably somewhere written, I just haven't read all about, but I saw both that in there. More to come. Yes, sir.
Is our individual fee going to change?
I don't believe so.
No, so it's not. We keeping it at $6 right now. The GIN system, the USGA handicap system, they've been meeting with me pretty intensely. They want our business, but that's from $6 to $25 is what it would increase to our membership. I'm not willing to take that for what we have when our system for $6 does what they do. One thing that did come up on our upgrade that came out is there is an app now for MGN. So that's where GIN system had an app that if you were to play somewhere, you get done, you can just go to your app and you can post your score. the app for NGN is out. It launched yesterday. I would tell everybody, just give it a month, and then I will release it to everybody if they want to download that app on their iPhones or smartphones, so they can score from their phone, and that will help the system too. So that is one positive thing that came out with NGN. With the price of $6 compared to the price of $25, they're catching up to the GEN system and the USGA. So we're going to keep the prices the same for 2020.
Darrell, is this going to make it easier for people running groups that have people playing different tee boxes? Now it's going to be relative to tee you've played rather than just an index where you had to go in and say, well, we got to add 5 strokes or deduct 5 strokes. Now if they play the same tees all the time, they don't have to change anything, do they?
You're talking about having a par adjustment for people playing
Right,
from
from
different
different
tee
tees.
boxes?
I mean, if you've got the same people playing the same tees every time.
Yeah.
The people that
there's-
run in groups now no longer have to go in and make that transition as long as they're staying on that same tee, because as I understand it, it's relative to the tee box you played and relative to par.
That's my understanding, is there won't be a par adjustment for people competing against each other from different tee boxes.
Right, as
I
long as they
believe that
stay on
goes
the
away.
same tee. But then if they move to a different tee, say they normally would play like a blue tee and they move up to the white tee, then they're going to have to, there's have to be adjustment. As long as they stay on the same tee that they post their scores on.
I don't think that's true. I think the par adjustment is gone.
Right, so it ought to be easier for people running groups if, as long as their people are posting their scores on the same tee that they're playing and they stay there.
I'm fairly sure that I'm correct about that, but we probably have to ask the USGA just to get confirmation on that. That's something that I haven't specifically heard. I've read about, but I want to get more information before I set that in stone, but I believe that's correct.
So you'll be covering this in detail at the golf leaders meeting at Golf Expo, right?
Yes, if not before, when I get back from the PGA show, as we do, and I'll bring it to you guys as well, Alex. We'll keep educating as this rolls out, as we learn more, as the USGA communicates with us more. As my staff, Kelly, does a great job reaching out to them and getting those questions asked and pointing out, hey, did you guys think about this? He has the answer. We'll follow up, keep following up with it.
Thanks, Darrell. Alex. I do have one question. I know Gary usually asks, talks about it, but simulator. Do we have any simulator activity since our last meeting, as far as people coming in and swinging and taking care and either playing or their swing or anything?
No, we did not. I'm going to be negative on this. The yes didn't pass, so the budget didn't allow us to purchase the program to have golf courses on it.
Okay.
We are using it. Both Hillary and myself have been giving lessons in there and working with people swing. And she's had a couple people said, when it's cold, they come down and say, can I book the simulator for later today? And they'll get in there and hit some shots to work on their swings. But there's no golf software up there to play a golf course.
Okay.
Because that costs
Right.
X amount of money.
All right, good. At least it's getting used, utilized. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Anything else for Darrell and Ops or Alex? That's all right. Yes, it's Keith's turn.
My turn?
It's your turn, sir.
Okay.
You got the floor.
First of all, if you have a question for me and you have to repeat it, I apologize. My head is full of something, so other than knowledge,
Marbles.
probably. Okay. Pretty short report. This time of year, we're generally pretty slow. We have smaller crews, and of course, the budget this year is a little tighter than in the past. Some of the things we'll be doing over the next month and a half, we'll start doing our pre-emerge because we didn't make any adjustments there to continue to provide quality, clean golf courses in the spring. We'll be doing some burn piles, and the reason I mention this, we do it every year, but after some of our other things that have happened in the village in the past, people tend to get a little bit concerned about that. The way we do that, we reach out to the fire department, tell them what we are wanting to do. They give us permission. We start it. We put it out at the end of the day. So we do small piles above ground as we need. Most of the debris was hauled off from the storm, so we have a limited amounts that we have to burn this year. but you will see some. We were burning some at Burkesdale this last week, so you saw smoke. So that's what that is, just so everyone would know. We also are going to do a little bit of tree pruning and start grinding some of our stumps that are the ones that are still in the ground. We'll talk a little bit more about the root balls here on my second part of my report. The other thing you need to know is if you look online, we are now doing the every 2 weeks the golf course is closed for projects. Although we don't have a lot of specific projects, we do have some. We try to do the work, like if we need to replace some bridge planks, we do it the week we're closed. If we have some tree work that's around a green, we do that the week it's closed. We try to do things so we don't have to disrupt golf when it's open. Right now, Scottsdale is closed through the 18th. It was discussed earlier, which is kind of a plus because Scottsdale will be covering greens today, as will Brittany for Saturday, because today is only Wednesday. Everybody goes, why would you do that? Well, the wind's going to be blowing about 25 tomorrow, then it's going to start raining. So we're doing that, and that's why Brittany is also closing today to cover, because our low temperature predicts potential issues. So we're going to cover based on our policy. So we try to do things during the closed week. And we'll even do some of this big stump work, which I'm going to talk about now. The second part of my report is the last of the 19 disaster cleanup is what I like to call it, the tree work and things like that. We have some big stumps still. We have an idea what we're going to do with some of them. We think we're going to bury some of them. We're going to go down to Burkesdale first along Highway 71. There's about 3 along the road there. Mac's going to help us. We're going to try that and see how we like it. If it's successful, then we'll go to Kingswood next. Then we'll go to Bella Vista Country Club. Then we'll go up to Highlands last. The ones that we can pick up and remove, we do have a place we can take them, but to get to them and get in and out is more destructive sometimes, so we're hoping this will work for us to get rid of the final stumps. So that's where we are with that. As far as the other main issue, we did have the tour yesterday at Scottsdale. We're going to be working on the bridges. The bridge contract went out for the company to start work. The survey has already been initiated. Our engineer has already been contacted by the city of Bella Vista. They may or may not require some permitting. Their permitting is not related to the bridge because we're really not doing any work to the bridge. We're doing work to the stabilization of the bridge. We're doing work in the creek. So the city, for example, might require a grading plan if we have to do some grading to get ready to do this stabilization. That's an example. We do know that the federal permit is out there already. We have a nationwide that has no cost to us that we can use for both of these projects. There is paperwork that has to be filled out and sent in. The engineering company would do that. ADEQ, which is the state agency that controls water quality, does have some permitting, but it's minimal. So it's not going to take a lot of time is the reason I'm saying this. The only one we're not real sure about is the Wildlife and Fisheries Service. They also have to come out and tell us if we need a permit or not for maybe some kind of animal that's in the creek or something that may be endangered or whatever. So they have to be contacted. They say we're good to go. So short story is I don't think the permitting is going to take that long. We were concerned about that. So that should move up the whole program for the engineers to do the drawings, construction drawings of what we're actually going to do to stabilize those bridges long term. Once we get those, we have 2 options. We can get with our MAC division, let them look at it. If they are capable of doing that type of work, they may be. And if they have time, because they have some other commitments, we will use them. If we need to, these contract documents will allow us to bid out per POA policy to get the work done. Having said all that, I anticipate it may still be end of May before all the bridge repair work is completely done. However, what we're going to do with our contractor is ask them to do the majority of the work on number 2 first, because 2 is the one they told us they would not want us to drive on. So we could do that one first, and then that would allow us to be able to get the course open for regular routing on a quicker basis. And we might have to close a day or 2 to do the work on the other hole, and we can adjust the tee, for example, on number 5 and do things like that to minimize the impact for that length of time. So, and our biggest goal is to get it open so we can play golf there, right? But we also want to be sure we're open before the 1st of June, because in June, we have a tournament here that would take member play out for a week, and we need to be sure we have every golf course available for that. So that is our goal. Obviously, it's all related to weather that could adjust what we do, but I feel fairly confident this process has moved forward, but I can't really tell you exactly a time frame because I haven't seen the work yet either. We don't know exactly what they're going to do, so and they're working on that. So that is my report as far as general. In storm cleanup, I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has about what we're doing day to day or what's going on with our cleanup. Yes, sir.
What's the plan for some of the rocks on the fairways that are still closed?
Like at Bella Vista Country Club, some areas that we haven't cleaned up, we plan on going back with the brushes once we start into the spring and the turf starts growing, so it has a chance to recover. Our concern now is if we went over and kept taking that rock out right now, then we might have issues with grass greening up. So I'm going to say March, April, we'll be back in those areas to start working those again.
That's it. Thanks, Keith. Tom?
Right now, the focus is on the assessment vote. The assessment vote will end on January 16th at 6 p.m. at Reardon Hall. Right now, we're at 46.3%. We need to get to 50% to reach quorum. Compared to the first vote from a couple months ago, we are slightly ahead of pace, so I'm optimistic that we're going to hit quorum maybe reasonably soon. That's it. Any questions regarding that?
And that's slightly ahead on quorum, because we don't know anything.
We do not know
Right.
the
I just-
outcome.
we just wanna make sure that's
we don't
clarified.
have access. Anybody can go, if you vote online, you can see on the bottom, and it'll show you how many people have voted. And that's what we do.
Right.
So we just track it. So Tammy, from the last vote, tracked it very closely, and this date, it was, day 1, day 2, day 3, all the way through. So she tracked it very closely, and as of the end of yesterday, we were about 0.2% ahead of pace for the same number of days.
Cool.
Good. So, we still have the call out for volunteers to make calls. We don't want to assume that we're going to hit quorum. We've had a good number of volunteers making calls, and I think that's helping get people motivated to cast their votes. So if you have some time, stop by. We need the assistance with the volunteers.
Are you sending out any reminder notices to those who have not voted?
Yeah, a reminder notice went out via email yesterday. If you've already voted, no, if you've already voted, so the system, we use a third-party system. If you've already cast your vote, you don't get the reminder. But if you have not, you do get the reminder, and every time they send out the reminder, about 500 people will vote. So we have a couple additional reminders that'll be hitting before the 16th. So we're very close.
Tom, is this percentage of voters only for the online voters?
This is all.
Okay.
All voters.
All right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they and you can kind of tell when we track it very closely. You can tell when they're processing the paper ballots, because all of a sudden you'll see within an hour or 2 hour period, you'll see the percentage participation increase dramatically. Maybe a 0.5% or a full percent, all within a 1 or 2 hour period. So it's pretty clear that they're processing the paper ballots and sending them through the machine all at one time. We've even gotten to the point where we can pretty much predict when they will run those because we track it pretty closely. But it is every vote that has been cast So if you haven't voted, please vote. And if you're willing to volunteer, please stop by the Welcome Center, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Tom, I haven't tried, but if you've already voted, electronically, can you go back in and still check that percentage?
Yes, you can. Yeah, and that's how I got the percent this morning. Because I voted weeks ago, but I went in and, now you can't re-vote.
Right, but I just,
But you can
once I
see.
voted, I may even destroyed my link at that time, but
Yeah.
I just wondered.
Yep. Great.
Thank you, Tom. Board, Jim, Mary, Jerry, Miss Ruth? Nothing? It's a new year. Nothing? Okay, good. Thank you, guys. Anybody from the public want to step up and ask any questions or have any comments? You are welcome to do that. No? Well, Daryl, you got the plaque for the longest time today. That's not a bad thing. It's not exactly, like cut off for next meeting.
Jason, let me
Yes, sir.
overstate the obvious in relationship to Daryl's challenge to us.
Yep.
If you go back around the table and ask how many people that played those rounds played in a non-group, I wonder what they would say. Because I play in 3 or 4 groups, but 3 or 4 times a week, but they're always in groups, whether it's a mixed couples group, whatever it is. So maybe the challenge is, how do we keep our numbers up in our groups? Or how do we get new groups? And I've had one neighbor that came up and said, I want to be able to get to a group. I just want to play golf. So I don't know. Maybe our member rounds are going down because those groups are getting smaller. And I know you do a lot of great work with those groups, Daryl, but maybe that's the way. Or maybe we ought to take a challenge. Well, I'm not going to play in a group. I'm just going to call my neighbors and say, let's go play golf. I don't know. But I think group golf is the basis of Bella Vista Golf. And so taking a visitor to your group sometimes isn't that easy. Because some groups don't want visitors. They just want their regular members. And so maybe the challenge is what to do with those groups.
Well, kind of following on that, I think that there's value in trying to think of things in terms of what demographic group you're going after. And people can be in different demographic groups. But you wouldn't try to do the same thing with people who already play 3 rounds of golf a week in groups as you would trying to increase people who are only playing once a month, which, by the way, is the standard for I'm a golfer. We think if you don't play 3 times a week, you're not a golfer, right? But the standard is once a month, right? But that would be a little different approach. And so we may want to think about how to categorize that, because the other thing is doing a lot of price manipulation probably isn't the best approach this year, because we're already going to lower the price of golf for members, right? So we don't want to lower it anymore. But things like, how do we get non-members to be members, right? So even though we're talking about member golf, getting that, how do we make the transition from lesson to groups, and help people with that? So there are a lot of different things, but would be very specific to a targeted audience. So anyway, so think about that. As you're thinking through, is what kind of people what segment are we looking at doing something for?
And I'm not allowed to talk for too long, so I'm going to make this real quick, okay?
You've got the floor, Daryl.
This is what I need, and this is the examples that I threw out there. This is exciting. That's exactly what I need. You hit the nail on the head. We are unique, golf groups. It's fantastic. We've got the Golf Expo coming up on March 10th at Reardon Hall. Invite your neighbor who's interested in getting a group. This is the stuff I want to know. This is when that neighbor comes down and can join groups. This is exactly what I want to throw on you guys to help us out. We're passionate. Every single one of us in this room is passionate about golf. And that's why I'm giving the challenge out there. Yes, golf groups are unique. I've noticed golf groups getting smaller on certain deals. WGC increased this year by some numbers. Other groups got down. We need them all to increase. I agree with you. Come up with ideas, report back, and let's go. It's exciting stuff. I know Ruth wants to say something.
Back to Dean. Your golf group is your best place, because once you've signed
You're exactly right, and I see so many people out there playing golf in bad weather because they're in a group that wouldn't be playing if they weren't in a group. So I think that's a great idea about inviting your neighbor to that. My neighbor, I said, well, didn't you go to the golf expo? And he said, I was out of town that day. And so I think there's a book you put out that has a list of all of them. So I think some of those things, inviting your neighbor to go to those things, trying to maybe make our golf groups even be more receptive to adding people, because sometimes we lose those members in our golf group and nobody comes back and replaces them. The group is just smaller and smaller.
Correct.
But
Correct. And what we
But group golf, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest thing about Bella Vista. I've told my friends and people that are going to locate here, you'll love group golf in Bella Vista. It's something they don't have at Hot Springs. Gives us a real edge.
And that's one thing. So that golf book we're currently working on right now. We reached out to the golf group leaders for summer, end of last year, and Ms. Kelly's putting it all together. And what we've got is we've got a description now with that golf group. So that will help that person that's coming in, that's moved here, or thinking about playing golf and going, man, I'm not a great golfer. I like to have fun. I like to do this. Well, let me look at that book. And that book's going to be available at the expo. They can look at the book, look up and say, well, I play on a Monday and I want to play in a fun group. And I love socializing afterwards. And it's going to have a description there. Boom. Or if you go serious golfer that once that we just had a gentleman move up from Texas and loves this place. He's in some serious groups. He looks at it and goes, play the ball down, everything counts, and we play for $5. Lovely. I'm in on that. So that's going to help as well. We're doing our part. I need you guys to see if you can go around and rally the troops.
Do we have a marketing plan for Golf Expo? Because last year, there really wasn't much publicity for it outside of the golf newsletter, which many of the target people don't get yet.
It will be in marketing rolled out. It was in the regular newsletter. It'll be in the water bill. It will be in all that stuff. That's how we did last year. We threw it all there. That's our marketing avenues that we have. I don't go around knocking door to door, but that's the way it rolls. They don't understand me anyway.
Is there pro shop? Can we put it in pro shops, or does it go in pro shops? I cannot remember. I'm sorry. Okay, I couldn't remember if it did last year or not.
Daryl, one more for you. For this ranking 4 and 5, I know Kim's not here. Is there any way for advertising, putting in billboards? Because I mean that's impressive. In the whole state, we're number 4 and 5, and I don't know if Kim has any ideas or.
We got it yesterday. She's on it. That was the first email that went out was to Tom and Kim, and it'll be rolling out through our marketing in the various forms. It'll be in the update, probably the headline.
Okay.
Water bills, we'll roll it all out as well for sure. Oh yeah, we're gonna jump on it and see. Like I said, that's from visitors coming in, and that's awesome.
That's good. Good stuff. Yeah, Dean, good initial thoughts on the round challenge. I know 2 people around this table. I think the only 2 people around this table that aren't in groups, right, Mark? One day we will be. I think for us as non-group players, I don't play near as much as I'd like to, but I have other responsibilities, and I know Mark does too with the girls. But and Daryl and I have talked about this too, and I think we're going to discuss it in a couple meetings to come. It's kind of the format that we're going to try to change this meeting to. Our challenges like this, Daryl and I had a lot of conversations, and Mark over the holidays and right before the holidays about how do we make this committee more effective and not just be here are the numbers, here's what and let's do something to help the benefit of the cause. If I may quote Miss Ruth, she always says. So we're going to do more of that. And I think one of the things is juniors, younger people. I know Daryl and his kids and Mark and his girls, and mine are now grown, but I have grandkids coming up now. That's great. But how do we get the younger kids out to play as well? Whether that's neighbor, hey, John, bring Sam with you, type of thing. So how do we increase the junior programs and things like that? So get your wheels turning. This is a smart group of people. Like Daryl said, we all love the game. We love Bella Vista, and let's just keep punching it.
Just one more little statistic kind of thing is, we kind of do a throwaway here with Mark and Jason, one round. Over half of our golfers play less than 10 rounds a year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big opportunity, because if you can get people who are playing once a year to play twice a year, it's a big number, right? So we have to look at all the different segments.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we get the kids and the parents and the grandkids and the grandparents together and do some, get together, so.
Good.
Before we leave that, you said something about we can't reduce rates anymore, but I noticed a lot of places have winter rates. We have summer rates when it gets too hot. I know a lot of places, I talked to a guy yesterday, I was wishing him happy birthday, Topeka, Kansas, and he says they get a lot of people that drive from Lawrence to Topeka, which is 30 miles, because they have a $25 winter rate, which includes golf carts. They're getting a lot of people coming over from Lawrence. So maybe, I don't know if we need to consider winter rates or not, but we need something to encourage people to get out there, whatever it might be.
I think we may have flexibility on guest rates
Yeah,
for
so
some
what-
things, but not so much for member rates.
What we did last winter, if you remember right, Ms. LTM Marketing designed a little golf ball with the wind and snow hat on that said if the price is below 40, if temperature's below 40, golf goes down in price. Yeah, and that really didn't encourage much. We didn't get a bang for our buck in that, but I like your idea of winter rates. My only thing we have is if you notice the golf courses are full in the mornings with shotguns and group play in winter, and that's kind of the trick. And then we have the schedule for the winter maintenance. But that's the idea I want to visit.
Well, you don't really have an afternoon either because we're starting at 11 or 12 o'clock. So
Because
there's
the
really
time is
no
so
late
short.
afternoon unless it just be a twilight rate or something.
One other thing I'd like to bring up is we may want to look at our cancellation policy on our groups during the winter. Why do we have to cancel 4 days in advance on the winter when the weather changes so rapidly? I mean, I was talking to Alex yesterday. Had I known, when I had to cancel by Friday for my Tuesday group, the weather went from a high of 45 to a high of 55 yesterday. Well, you lost 12 to 16 people playing golf because of that. So maybe we could be a little bit more tolerant in the winter on that kind of a policy too with our groups.
Okay, I'm actually going to adjust. I'm going to say right now, and I haven't even spoken to pros, the reason we ask for the 4 days out is so we can adjust the tee sheets to allow membership to sign up and go. But I'm telling you, if day before, if you call in and say, I need to add 3 more foursomes, we can make it happen. So it's not a done deal at 4 days out.
I understand that.
Okay.
I really do understand that. But, it's, if you've already made other plans, like my group makes other plans, if we can't play golf, we go to Metfield and play games. So we're getting out of the house. So, but that's just one of those things
Yeah.
that could improve
I agree.
membership.
That's perfect. I like it.
My last comment about group golf is we have a few people in here that run groups, and I think that's a lot of work, and we need to make sure those people realize how much we appreciate the work they do. I know you run a group. You run what? How many groups? 2? A lot of work. I really appreciate those people. And I don't want to run a group. I love to play in them. So make sure you tell that group person, hey, we appreciate you. It's a lot of work. Last word, I'll shut up.
Your handicap's going to come down too, according to the new system, Dean. You don't have to do anything. It's good stuff. We appreciate it, Dean. And we do appreciate the group leaders for sure. And you're right. They don't get recognized enough, and we need to make sure we recognize them. Yes, Darrell.
All right, Kit, I got a nice text from somebody sitting in the audience there. Just a heads up, I love the microphone apparently, but 10th year Golf Expo. This is the 10th year, so we're going to do something a little special at the Golf Expo this year, and Kitty's got some great ideas we're going to bring in there, so that's a good way of marketing it, bringing it out. It's our 10th year, so it's kind of cool.
You sure? Thank you, Darrell. We appreciate you as well. Yeah. Chris, cut the mic. One last thing for the committee. Well, 2, but they all relate to each other. When do we want to start course reports again? Do we want to start next month or March or April? I know we kind of talked about that. And the second thing is, do we want to rotate and change courses up? So we can either discuss it now real quick, or we can.
I think April is early enough.
Okay,
I agree.
fair enough. Okay, April.
Agree.
Okay. Do we want to change courses up?
I think that would be great.
Okay. I will change up courses. I take small bills or large bills. Any bills. Any bills that are already paid. I don't want bills that need to be paid.
Okay, just to clarify that, so April means you're reviewing them in March, or are we going to review in?
We will start reviewing in April.
April, first
Before-
report will be May, okay.
First report will be May. Correct. Yep. Good. Anything else? Anything else from our great crowd? Nope. Thanks for coming, for sure. Meeting adjourned.